here again, episode 38, Bullheaded Podcast. I am here with my fellas, Zoo and P-Bush. What's up, guys?
Doing well, Sean. Doing well. Enjoyed watching the undefeated season get wrecked by the Baylor Bears, man. It was a game. It was a bunch of boys playing with men, as Sean said pre-production, man. The Baylor team lifts with the football team. They know what they're doing, man. So,
oh my God. Yeah. Oh, I can't believe the Zags, man. I believed in them all year, man. I thought they had the team. But even though I didn't doubt Baylor, man, I thought it was going to be one of those 50-50 type games. I thought it was going to be a close game, but it wasn't close at all. So didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, as the guys were just referring to, that national championship game was a snoozer. And I guess if you're a Baylor Bears fan, it was the best game ever because did not know that Scott Drew had been there close to, I think, 16 to 17 years. So that's pretty cool to see him grinding for that long and being able to pull out a championship. So, the first question I want to throw at the guys tonight, what was their reaction to the game? Did it live up to the hype? I guess you could say did Gonzaga choke? Did Baylor just take it from them? People, I'm going to go with you, man. What's your thoughts on the game?
Well, I was in the minority last podcast picking Baylor over Gonzaga. Obviously, at that point, we can't overlook that UCLA Gonzaga game real quick because that was the best game in the tournament by far. Jalen Suggs coming up clutch, pulling a little D Wade from just inside half court. And hey, that was a hell of a shot. I was riding UCLA money line and I was all pumped up. And once I saw that shot leave his hands, man, I knew it was in. And I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. But I think, and Zoo and I were kind of talking about this, UCLA did give Gonzaga a hell of a run for their money and had to, take them to overtime. It could have been double OT. I do think Gonzaga was a bit maybe tired, but usually a game like that, it kind of pumps you up, especially hitting a game winner. It's, it's not like they were losing. It was a tie game. He hit a three to just not have to go to a second overtime. But man, oh man, I think that they just underestimated Baylor. I genuinely think they did. I mean, Baylor, we've talked about it, Zoo. They were 1-2 respectively the entire year, even preseason. And Baylor just played a perfect basketball game. I don't think I've ever seen a college team dominate in every facet. I mean, they had 14 offensive rebounds to Gonzaga's 1. They made Drew Timme look like a varsity basketball player.
Yeah.
Okay. The only guy that made an impact was obviously Jalen Suggs, and he dropped 20. And that's why he's the NBA-ready player coming out of that Gonzaga team. I do got to give props to him. I think everyone knew he was a one and done, but he's going to do well in the NBA. And, it was tough to see him break down there at the end, but, man, that's sports. So I think that, Zoo, Baylor's guards combined for 56. You're always talking about guard play.
Yeah.
Jared Butler was just – I feel like every three he took, it was just going in. Didn't even matter. And they were forcing turnovers, man. I thought the game was pretty much in the bag within the first 5-6 minutes once I saw how quickly Baylor was able to take advantage of Gonzaga, manhandle them down low, and honestly keep up with them because no other team had been able to keep up with Gonzaga. But Baylor made them look like they were a 500 team that night almost. So it was a huge change in just the entire college basketball situation. I think everybody was just riding on Gonzaga. So I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped for Baylor. It was two coaches who had been there for a long time. And as Sean said, they both built up their program. So either way, it would have been great to see. But Scott Drew, he predicted it too. He said, I'll win a national championship.
I'm so disappointed in the Gonzaga Bulldogs, man. So disappointed, man. I believed in them in the beginning, man. I believed in them because I saw the talent. I saw the point guard. And at the beginning of the year, I was like, man, I feel like this is the team that's going to get it done. But in the championship game against a worthy team, man, Baylor, people were doubting Baylor. Like, I'm telling you, this team had multiple NBA players. It fit my top 12 criteria. It fit all my criteria. So I told you these are the only two teams that I thought could win a championship. That's why I had them both in the championship game. And obviously, I thought the Gonzaga Bulldogs were going to get it done. But, man, the Baylor Bears, props to them, man, make the game pretty unwatchable with their physicality, man. And, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, they weren't even struggling that bad on offense. They were hitting over 50% of their shots. So their efficiency was there, and they've been able to score pretty relatively easy in this tournament. But, man, giving up 86 points to the Baylor Bears, man, 43% from three. That was the key figure right there. The Baylor Bears been struggling in three-point in the earlier rounds of the tournament. They couldn't hit anything. But then the guards started, and then Mr. Jay Butler, man, fake Jimmy Butler, 4 for 9 from downtown, man. 4 for 9 from downtown. That is a clutch performance, man. He got fake Donovan Mitchell, man. Also going to the league next year, dropping 15 points. So like they had multiple guards. They can handle and shoot the ball and even play make. So obviously guard play is huge, and they have 3 legit guards that got buckets in such a key game, and it was just pure domination, man. I didn't see Drew Timmy pull and be Hakeem Olajuwon, man. Him against UCLA, the guy looked godly, man. I was like, this dude looks unstoppable. Yep. But in this game, he only got up 7 shots. He was pretty efficient, 5 for 7. Yep. But the opportunities to set him up in the post, obviously feeding the post, you got to rely on teammates, and defense on the other team dictates what you do. But man, he couldn't dominate the game. Jalen Suggs just being a stud, but Mr. Kisper, man, 5 for 12, man. Like, that's not efficient at all. And just knowing that, like, Yai was pretty much a non-factor. I forgot the guy played in this game.
Nemhard, too?
Yeah, dropping 8. Oh, man, he had some turnovers. I had to shake my head some of those turnovers, man. I looked at them just like, oh, yeah, Timmy, too, with 5 turnovers as a big. That's bad. So I'm just saying, man, like, shout outs to Baylor Bears. I feel bad for Gonzaga losing another national championship game, man. Dude, first North Carolina, and now to Baylor Bears, man. They're 0-2, man. They're 0-2, and they're losing Suggs, so this team's obviously get worse. And Timmy and Kisper, so this team got to regroup. Because, like, this squad, man, this is a blown opportunity. And they had a really easy path to get in. Obviously, that UCLA game, probably no one saw that becoming that close of a game, man. 1 possession game. It was a coin flip game, but I feel like that UCLA game was a precursor to this defeat right here, because I feel like there was definitely fatigue in the first couple minutes of the game.
Yeah, I think I agree. Thinking back on the UCLA game, I mean, UCLA was a lot smaller of a team too. So I think that, when they just came up to facing the Bears in the national championship game, they just completely underestimated that, hey, we haven't really played like an extremely physical team that won. I think that there were 3 keys to the game. One was the offensive rebounding of Baylor. They just manhandled them down low. They got Gonzaga in major foul trouble there early on, especially Drew Timmy. That was for sure something that got him flustered, caused him to, maybe get some of those turnovers going. Yeah, and then, like you said, Zoo, they doubled the amount of turnovers that Baylor had given up. I think they had 7 and Gonzaga had 14. And I think they scored 18 points off turnovers. I mean, that's the difference in the game right there. They lost by 16 points. It was just a rough performance, not offensively, but I just think mentally and defensively, Gonzaga just imploded. And they didn't know what to do when they went down early, man. They were calling timeouts like this because Mark Few was just like, hey, man, we just need to string together some stops, and they just couldn't do it. It was, for me, being, betting on Baylor and having them win a bracket, it was great to watch, but I do wish it was a bit more competitive. I heard people saying UCLA would have given Baylor a better game. I don't even think that's a thing. I don't know why that would even come out of your mouth, but either way, it was the 2 best teams, so you can't really complain there.
Yeah, I think Baylor showed a lot more toughness. I think in the first couple of minutes, you could kind of see with the offensive rebounding, they just kind of, I don't want to say like, because when you're in a championship game, I hate when people say, well, one team wanted it more. I feel like when you're in that type of atmosphere of a championship game, every team wants it. So I just feel like Baylor was more physical on the boards. But I will give Gonzaga a little bit of hope. I think I was looking at it yesterday. They have like a top 5 guy coming in. He's like a combo guard. He's really skilled. I don't think he's Jalen Suggs, but he's, a high-ranked recruit. And I think they're still waiting on one other guy who is Jalen Suggs' teammate. He may go pro, but we'll see. But it really sucks for Gonzaga because this was the year that, like, even though Gonzaga is kind of considered a basketball blue blood, like you had Duke didn't make it. They were down. North Carolina was down. Kentucky. A lot of big teams were down. So if any year Gonzaga needed to do it, it needed to be this year. Because next year, those big guns, they're going to come back reloaded. They're going to be ready. So it's like it's going to make it even more tough for them to get back to the championship game. So I don't know. I just feel like they kind of missed out on an opportunity. But, I mean, it is what it is. So salute to the Baylor Bears, man. They've been knocking on the door. They have a really good basketball structure at Baylor with the women's and men's team. So shout out to them for that. Getting to, I think, the biggest news of the week with Sam Darnold. Sorry, people. I don't think the Bears were able to get to him quick enough, but he was traded to the to the Carolina Panthers. for a couple of draft picks. I think one this year, two next year, insignificant picks. But wanted to ask the fellas what they think about the trade. Do they see Darnold being, I guess, potentially a fit for the Carolina Panthers in the long term? Should the Panthers still go after a quarterback? We can go a couple ways with this. So, Zoo, what's your thoughts on the trade, man?
I love it, man. I love the trade, man.
Really?
Dude, because you know my thoughts about Teddy Bridgewater, man. You know what he is, man. He got a nice little floor, but his ceiling is just right above that floor, man. Barely no upside, man. Zero upside to win championships. So right now you're getting a nice young player, Sam Darnold, man. This guy's a top 3 pick. You're getting this quarterback from a situation with the Jets, man. A tragedy. A tragedy. Man, the New York Jets, man. They were like the New York Knicks of the NFL, man. Like, it's just pure tragedy, man. Bad. They fired everyone. They fired the head coach. Like they had to clean house because of how poorly managed they were. So like right now, Sam Darnold was never given the opportunities, the weapons. So the guy got hit all the time. No offensive line, no weapons, and now you're getting McCaffrey with a DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, who the Jets mistakenly let go. This guy got some weapons now. He's going to get a great opportunity with a well-run franchise like the Panthers right now, a chance to win some games. So, like, you giving up a 6th-round pick, man, who cares? 4th rounder, whatever. Okay, they didn't even give up 1 first-rounder, man. Like, they give up a 2nd-rounder. That's actually a pretty good value pick, but a 6th-rounder, whatever. You're getting a quarterback, and if he turns out to live up to his potential, you got your franchise quarterback for the next couple of years. If he doesn't, you lose a couple of picks. Big whoops. It's not like you gave up, like, 3 first-round picks when, like, the Chicago Bears moved up, giving up multiple first-rounders, not these 6th-rounders and 4th-round picks. Like, these are, like, whatever picks. You're not getting a game changer with those types of picks. You're getting some nice, solid players. I mean, be rotational-type dudes, man. But, like, some picks, like, whatever. Like, the upside, man, and, like, the downside, if he busts, you lose some picks, and you went for a QB, and you still got Teddy Bridgewater, who you gave way too much money for. Still don't understand that. Everybody knew what Teddy Bridgewater was. Like, he's just average. He's just a definition.
He's a game manager.
He's a game manager. The game. Yeah, and you, like, come on. Like, if you want to win championships, you don't get game managers, man. You get ballers. And Sam Darnold has the potential to be a baller.
I mean, I think that, last year it made sense as kind of a filler year to have Teddy, just with McCaffrey being out, and DJ Moore had issues, and Robbie Anderson was kind of holding that number 1 wide receiver slot there for a while. And hey, now he's reunited with the guy who sees ghosts. So hopefully Carolina's a bit different. I think that he is the winner of this trade. I don't think it's either organization. I think it's just Sam Darnold. He's finally out of a massive sports market, not, Charlotte, big city, but he doesn't have all the New York media on him all the time. Not that the Giants are doing much better, but the Jets are just a sorry franchise, man. If you were to ask the random NFL fan to tell you a couple players on the Jets, they might name Jamison Crowder and Frank Gore. I really think those are the only two. And Frank Gore, I feel bad for him, man. But look, Sam Darnold, I mean, he's, like you said, he's 24. A lot of people think he was, drafted a little too high. Just hasn't really reached his potential. But what have the Jets really done to bring out his potential? They haven't given him any help. They got rid of their only hope at wide receiver in Robbie Anderson, who is now going to be reunited with Sam. And I think that, having McCaffrey in the passing game will help Darnold develop a lot. I think that's the big thing. That's the big thing for me, that I think, they see that in him is, hey man, just get a couple checkdowns going, and then DJ Moore is going to end up flying up the right hash sideline and just bomb it to him, and he'll probably go up and get it. So I think he's in the best situation. I am interested to see what Carolina does with Teddy. I don't think that they'll just waive him, cut him. I think they will keep him for another year. I'm not sure about his contract. Do you know how many years are on his contract still, Zoo? Or was it just a 1-year deal?
I think it was a multi-year deal.
Yeah, I think it was too much money. That's all I know. It was too much money. But, I mean, I think they'll hold on to him. The Jets need a new start, man. I think they're going to end up taking Zach Wilson, the 2nd pick. I mean, they're just going to move on from Darnold. I think everyone's just trying to get a clean slate, including Darnold himself. And he's totally okay with that, especially with the Jets. They're getting some decent picks. I don't think Carolina is going to be going to the Super Bowl in the next year or two. So it's not like those picks are going to be that poor. It's just interesting that he didn't no one else pursued him. The only thing that stood out to me was I wonder why Carolina.
Because I don't think he's that good.
Exactly.
That's why I think maybe people pursued him.
Yeah, I think the Chicago Bears should have went for Sam Darnold instead of Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton. You give up the same package. I feel like the Bears Nation would have liked that more. Just get a couple of late picks.
Well, then Andy Dalton
over Andy Dalton
for sure, absolutely.
QB1.
Yeah. Oh no. But at the same time, it's like the Carolina was also a front runner for Deshaun Watson.
Oh yeah, Deshaun. He's got legal trouble.
Yeah, you might be able to get him for like a 7th round pick.
And that's what I'm saying. So Zoo, my point is that the number one spot for him that a lot of people thought he was going to go to was Carolina. And now they're out of the table. So if he does end up leaving, this actually leaves a little bit more door open for the Bears to make a move. So to your point of the Bears not getting
watch the Bears get Deshaun Watson and he's like suspended for a year.
Exactly. That would happen.
I still would do it. I still would do the deal though. I still would do the deal.
I probably would too.
I mean, if he sits for a year, hey, that's 1 year off for getting hit. So
yeah. Clear your head and clear your name in court. That's what you do for the year.
And stop getting massages, man. This dude got a massage addiction, man.
Yeah, maybe you just try it. Maybe you just try a Massage Envy or something like that. A well-known chain. But I mean, it's so Carolina's QB situation. I don't know if they're gonna take a big step. They're in a tough-ass division, man. They're with the Saints. I mean, Drew Brees is gone.
No more Drew Brees now, man. No more Drew Brees.
They're still not a scrub team, man. They have solid weapons. I'd say that,
Taysom Hill?
Yeah. I mean, they paid him too much. But,
yeah, they did.
His contract is structured in a way that, they pay a lot later on so that they can save cap and, whatever. But I don't think this is going to take Carolina to the next level. Will it kind of put a Band-Aid over their current issue? Yeah, probably. But it might take him a while to get his feet under himself, man. He's lost a lot of confidence being in that Jets organization for so long. I think he's just crushed his spirit. Similarly to what happened to Trubisky, dude. I think that his spirit just got crushed after losing. And there's just what happens with
Darnold's got a better arm than Trubisky, man.
They just don't have. Are you serious?
Yes. And he's more accurate with the football.
Oh my! All right, we're not getting into that.
I don't know.
That's a dumbass take right there.
I don't know.
What? I'm not saying he's.
At least he took his team to the playoffs twice.
The Bears defense brought him to the playoffs twice. Not Mitchell Trubisky. He was
Pro Bowler.
My thoughts about the Pro Bowl in the NFL. Nobody wants to go to the Pro Bowl, man.
All right.
It's a fake All-Star game, man. It's fake.
It's better. Hey, at least they have some non-fans voting for the NFL one, man.
Oh my God, the NFL Pro Bowl.
It's worse. It's not as bad as the NBA All-Star game, dude. But
stop it. The people that make NBA All-Star games are real All-Stars.
Andy Darnold has had maybe 3 good games in his career, and that is it. And they have never won more than like 3 games with him. I mean, they're not even in that great of a division last year. It was really just the Bills. Dolphins were good. I get it.
Dolphins are good, man. They're a 10-win team.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I agree with you. They didn't make the playoffs, though. I mean, so my point is that division's somewhat open now. I mean, the Bills are the front runner, but if there's a wild card spot that's available, if the Jets end up making a nice trade or nice draft pick with Zach Wilson and they actually do something to give him weapons, we'll see what they can do there. But I just think that they were burnt out on Sam Darnold and Darnold was burnt out on them. This needed to get done and out of the way.
Yeah, new management.
Is it a big move? Not really.
New management, man. When they want to get their own QB in.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I agree.
Makes sense. They got no loyalty to this. They go Sam.
Yeah, I also think Darnold maybe helped with Rule and Joe Brady because not saying that they could replicate what they did with Joe Burrow at LSU, plus Joe Burrow had way better weapons. But I will say I think Darnold, a fresh change of scenery was good for him. I just don't see the infatuation. Like I think to me, if you're that guy, quarterback. You just look at Deshaun. Look at Deshaun. He had Hopkins, but even when Deshaun didn't have Hopkins, what did he have last year? And he made it happen.
He was a loser last year, man. His team sucked.
But he was the best quarterback in the league. Darnold didn't show us that.
Yeah.
He didn't show us anything remotely close.
Yeah, one dude's a max player. This guy's a rookie trying to prove himself, man.
No, he's not. He's like in his 3rd or 4th year.
Yeah, he's on his rookie contract, man. He's not even on his second year contract.
So you're making that argument for him, Zoo, but you would never make that argument for Trubisky.
Because I've seen him play a lot of games in a decent situation.
You live in New York. You live in New York. You see what the media covers on Darnold. I'm sure it's not that great.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Sometimes they just don't. They can't mentally get over it. So the only way, Trubisky going to Buffalo, and you got Darnold going down to Carolina. Man, they're just trying to clear their minds.
You know what the difference is? One dude's a backup and one dude's starting. That's the difference.
Josh Allen versus Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, I know. I never said it's an easier job to get, but I'm just telling one dude's starting and one dude's gonna be sitting on the bench collecting that nice paycheck.
One got a lot quicker attention than the other one did. Let's just put it that way. The Bills snapped him up. I don't know why. Everyone was not wanting to trade for Darnold, man. As you said, he's not a hot commodity.
Yeah, I don't get the Darnold hype.
I really
know
don't
he didn't have. Yeah, he had a lot of. I think what it is when he came in, he was from a bigger name program. Darnold was from UNC, or not Darnold, but Trubisky's from UNC. Darnold was a USC guy. He had a lot. He had Colin Cowherd and all those guys behind him because Colin Cowherd makes every excuse in the world. And I love Cowherd, but he makes every excuse in the world for Darnold.
He loves them.
It's like Jesus Christ. Like, I mean, I know he didn't have any weapons, but it's like you got to at least show me something. You got to show me something. So okay, we'll see though. He has a chance. He, like you say, there's no excuses now. He has.
He got weapons.
Brady. He got weapons.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he's got to show some type of improvement. So. I ain't gonna lie. If it was me personally, like I know this is crazy, but I would draft a quarterback because I don't trust Darnold. I would draft a quarterback.
You'd have to cut Teddy. I think.
Yeah,
if you did that, you'd have to trade
or whatever. But I would try to draft a quarterback, and that would almost. And I'm a big believer. And I know they say if you have two quarterbacks, you have done. But I'm a big believer in competition. So like, if you got a guy, why do you think? To me, perfect example, Aaron Rodgers. When Jordan Love came, he had the best, like one of his best years last year, and that's because the Packers.
Lit a fire.
Lit a fire in him. So I don't know. We'll see. I think Darnold has a chance to be pretty good this year, but that division too. I don't even know who to pick in that division. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, but I don't know. It's hard to repeat. It's just hard to repeat. So we'll see. But last topic of the day, we're gonna talk about the NBA MVP. I honestly have no idea. Well, I kind of have an idea of who could be the MVP right now, but it's not like a popular pick because it's a big guy. And I know Zoo loves big men, but I think Embiid is going to be able to maybe make a late push because he's, showing out a little bit in the East. So I'm going to ask the fellas who they think right now is going to win the MVP, who's their leader, things of that nature. And P-Bush, who you got for the NBA MVP?
The man, the myth, the legend, the Joker, man. He is going to be the MVP of the 2021 season, man. This guy, look, man, the Nuggets are hot. They have won 7 in a row. And they're about to take over that 3 seed in the West and be right behind 2, which I don't think a lot of people predicted, but Jazz and then Suns, man. And then you got the Clippers, and now you got the Denver Nuggets, who were sitting at that 8-9 spot for a while there early on, Zoo. A couple months ago, we were talking about how that was the team that really needed to pick it up. And leave it to Mr. Jokic, man. He's just been a monster. I mean, he's putting up like 26, 11, and nearly 9 assists. He's shooting over 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 88% from the line. His win share percentage, Zoo, this is actually interesting, per 48 minutes, is up there with Steph's 2016 MVP season, LeBron's 2013 MVP season, 3 of Michael Jordan's MVP seasons, and 3 of Kareem's MVP seasons. So his ability to affect his team is up there with some of the biggest legends in NBA history. Right there alone, he's played 51 games. He's started all 51 of them.
Every game.
He's played every game, and I like the Embiid pick. They could easily win the Eastern Conference 1 seed. I think they're only a half game behind the Nets right now. But his injuries, man, I think he's only played a handful over 30 games right now. He's putting up monster numbers, but I just think Jokic has had the most individual impact on his team, and I think Embiid's a close second, but I got to go with Jokic, man. He's just been fun to watch, and hey man, he almost ran over that ref a couple nights ago, though. You see that?
He
may have lost favor. He may have lost favor in the NBA eyes right there, though.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, for me, I can't disagree at all. For me, is the Joker unanimous MVP for me, no doubts about it, especially with the injuries. The injuries pretty much flattened everything. It was like pretty much obvious who should be MVP because in the beginning, you got Joel Embiid fighting out with LeBron James starting out in the beginning of the year, but with LeBron getting injured, Big Joe getting injured, and the Sixers are doing well without Joel. Like they're winning games without him.
Surprisingly.
So that just appreciates your value that easily because that's factual evidence right there. But obviously the Joker, this dude's PER 36.
30,
What the hell? That is so astronomical. Like that's a PR of like Wilt Chamberlain back in the day, man. His efficiency rating is incredible. Like the dude's top 10 in rebounds, points, and assists.
Yeah.
Like this guy's a true point
At 7
center.
feet.
Yeah, the guy's a true point center. Like
Yeah.
he might be a big, but he does guard stuff. Like bring up the ball, initiate the offense, shoot the three, pass, and like he does everything for this team. Like even like man, like defensively, he's not that good. But man, my thoughts about defense, man. Offense is greater than defense. Better offense will always be better defense, man. Yep. Stop it, man. The Baylor Bears dropped 86 points, man. 86 points.
Forced turnovers, and they won by a margin on turnovers.
No, they hit threes. That's what happened. They shot 40%
on turnovers.
Offense, man.
On
it was
turnovers.
Stop it. Offense is better than defense. Everybody knows that. In the game of basketball, the rules favor the offensive player, man. If you know what you want to do on an offensive end, nothing you can do on defense, man. No, I think just basketball is a sport with all the rule changes. It just favors the offensive player. So, yeah,
I was going to say you see way more charges taken in college basketball than you do in any NBA game.
God, I hate that rule. I hate the.
You don't like a charge rule?
I hate the charge rule.
Why? Or else you just play football. You just barrel into everybody.
I don't mind it like being called in like pivotal moments, but like to me, I feel like it's a bailout for defenders who can't defend. That's what I feel like it is. Because a lot of the times the charge calls, if you really look at charge calls, you'll be like. Like anytime you have to be like, if you're like, it shouldn't be a charge call. Like if it's definitive,
I agree.
Like I get it. Like if you're like standing in the paint and they barrel over you, yes. But like when a guy makes a move and then he gets past his defender and then like a guy slides over at the last minute, I hate that rule because then it's just like.
Well, that's why you have to be stopped. You have to have taken it directly on. You can't take it from the side. Dude, it's just the fact that the team that we saw taking the most charges was Gonzaga and Baylor, and they're both very good at it. Because they're taught that. It's just a fundamental. That's why they were able to just dump on teams for so long. And then they just face off with each other, and Baylor was just the stronger one. But, look, Jokic is not a good defender, Zoo. He's not going to be winning any Defensive Player of the Year at any point in his career, I don't think. But this should be his unanimously. There's no way, man, that they give it to Giannis. I swear to God, if they give it to Giannis and they give him 3 in a row.
No.
And it's because
he might not even make it out of the first round, man.
Exactly.
The first round, man. Like that's
what I was just gonna say.
You can't have another Dirk situation losing the first round MVP. That would be embarrassing. But even if you look at the impact metrics, man, Jokic is number 1 in value over replacement player. Box plus minus, offensive block plus minus, win shares, offensive win shares, and overall win shares. Number 1 in every advanced statistical category on any offensive statistical category. I'm just like, that's good enough for me, man. And his team is top 3 in the West, man, over the Lakers right now. Like obviously with the Jazz and the Suns, they have a better record, but overall it's more of a team effort. And you compare Chris Paul, who's I think he's by far the best player on the Phoenix Suns, and Donovan Mitchell, they're in the same class as Jokic, man. And you saw that in this. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they're not like, and they're great players and they're like all-stars this year, but they're not like an MVP.
They're not.
Team is winning night in and night out.
Yeah, they ain't putting up these numbers are just so silly. Like this guy, a center averaging 9 assists. That is just mind blowing. Like this dude's passing. I told you, this guy will go down as one of the 10 greatest centers of all time. And this will cement that with an MVP. Not many centers win an MVP. Like if he wins MVP, he has many MVPs as Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
So I'm just like, it is rare for centers to get MVPs. Yep. And with the league right now dominated by wings and guards, for him to pull it off in this era, because he's got guard skills, man. This is why you need guard skills to be like as dominant as this, because you ain't doing this just being a post player. You got to be multidimensional.
He had to have picked Luka's brain, man. I swear to God, he had to. They're always talking. If you saw like at the All-Star game and stuff like that, dude. I think it's something like. Partially, I think his footwork is so good just because he learned like playing soccer too. I mean, you see that a lot. Like Doncic and Jokic are very finesse players. They're not like quick. They're kind of thick guys. They're not like very skinny and quick movement. But they just know where they need to go to get their best available shot. And Jokic has developed a 3, man. He's shooting over 40% from 3. I mean, It's ridiculous. He's close to a 50, 40, 90 season if he could just bump those free throw numbers up a bit. But man, I mean, they can't give it to Giannis. I don't think they'll give it to Embiid. And LeBron's hurt. So I mean, it has to go to him.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Joker. He's gonna win.
It's gonna be unanimous, and I don't think there's anybody that can really compete with him. But look, I think I'd love to see the top 3 seeds be a non-LA team. I think that would just be great for the NBA. It would just be more competitive. I mean, it's probable that the Lakers will still end up getting to the Western Conference Finals if they're healthy. But I'd like to see some good matchups, with, the Mavericks holding the 7th seed, the Grizzlies at the 8th seed. I'd love to see a Jazz Grizzlies series, man. Watch Donovan Mitchell and Ja go head to head. That could be pretty wide open. That could go 5-6 games.
Well, low key, I feel like the Los Angeles Lakers will want to be a 5 seed. Do you know why? They get an opportunity to play like the Portland Trailblazers or the Dallas Mavericks. LeBron ain't losing to that.
No.
And in the second round, he gets to play the Utah Jazz, which I called Atlanta 2.0. And it's going to be a butt whooping, man. I'm saying it right now. The Utah Jazz are fraudulent, man. They are fraudulent. They're the nice regular season team that depends on the 3-point shot, just driving, kicking on 3-point shooters. They got like 4 guys that can shoot 40% from downtown. It ain't going to be that easy in the playoffs when the pace slows down, man. You're not going to get those easy looks. And after that, what you're going to do, ISO Donovan Mitchell, and he's not that efficient of a scorer. The guy's only 6'2". He needs to go. He needs to drop like 35 a game, and that's just too hard on a guy like that. And Mike Conley's getting up there in age. My thoughts about Rudy Gobert on offense, irrelevant. So, you need like someone else to step up with Donovan Mitchell. I don't see that guy. And the Lakers be licking their lips, man. They'll be licking their lips to get AD and LeBron back, butt whooping the Jazz, and get an opportunity to play probably the Clippers or Suns in the conference finals.
Yeah, I definitely can see that.
You're not wrong.
I definitely can see that. I think 2 things with Denver Nuggets just as a whole. Shout out to their scouting department. I feel like they've scouted really well. Like, if you go look back and look at the players that they got, I think Joker was even a 2nd-round pick. Like, I don't know if
second round.
So it's like if you look at him, I mean, of course, Jamal's an
Arturas Karnasovis, baby. That's all that dude, man. Him and his Euro connections, man.
That's the GM. That's the GM.
Yeah,
he's the GM for the Bulls now.
Yeah, he's nice.
He got Vucevic, and then he pulls off the Vucevic trade.
Shout out to Denver, man. They've not recruited, but they've drafted really well. And I agree with you guys. I think Joker is going to get it. Some people will say by default. Like, I mean, if all those other guys were healthy and stuff like that, he would still, I think, be in consideration to be.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Candidate. Definitely top 3.
He's doing his numbers.
Maybe Embiid, because Embiid he's scoring more, he's averaging more rebounds. I mean, I think he's lower on assists, obviously. But if he had stayed healthy, I think that would have been the toughest one, just because the Sixers could have actually had the one seed,
over the Nets.
So, and that's big when it comes to the MVP. But there really, as Zoo was saying, there really isn't an MVP level player in that top 2 seeds of the East or the West right now.
Oh yeah. Brooklyn Nets got no MVPs because the team's just too freaking good. Like you're not that valuable. You're not that valuable if you can sit a game and KD sits a game and they win like 10 straight without you. Like you're irrelevant. Like you're a great player, but you have no value because you got Harden dropping 45 and Kyrie dropping 40 another night. There's no value on the team. Like it's too good of a team.
Yeah, you're right. I think at any point when all of them have sat either once or 2 or whatever, they've won the game. So they all cancel each other out. They definitely haven't had a chance to make their case for the MVP. It's not happening.
Scary.
That is scary.
Dude, LaMarcus Aldridge, he looks good.
It's crazy. He looks like a new person.
Revitalized.
He looks like the guy on the Blazers, man, shooting mid-ranges. I'm like, man, this guy was just faking it on the Spurs.
Exactly. Like Kawhi, man.
Like, I looked at his stats the year before. Like, he dropped off like statistically like over 7 points. I'm like, what happened? The year before, he averaged 9 a game. Like, those are some nice numbers. Like, this guy, you put this guy in the starting lineup, Jesus Christ, the Nets.
This may be blasphemous. But I'm starting to see a couple of things with the Spurs organizations. I know he's done a lot for the Spurs.
Greg
Popovich, I don't know if if his message is just not getting through to the star guys, not so much the guys who are building, but like his whole, Pop's just being
old mind,
that whole
old
thing.
Man philosophy.
They might have to. They might, and I know they're probably going to let him retire on his own watch. Like he's not going to have to be like he's not going to get fired. But I don't know, man. Kawhi, I feel like he wanted out.
LA, man,
Aldridge,
it's a trend.
I don't know. It's kind of I don't know who the next star for the Spurs is. I feel like they got all young guys now, but
Yeah,
we'll
they
see,
they have to do their homegrown stars, but I don't see a single relevant
they
player
do.
on that roster, man. Not
That's
a
all they
single
do, man.
relevant player, man.
If I genuinely think besides Kawhi, every other homegrown player that they've had has actually enjoyed playing under Pop.
yeah.
But Kawhi was just too
They're
good.
all European players, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
another thing too.
they the American superstar kids that were like blessed ever since like 10 years ago. Yeah. AAU, it's pretty much
Exactly.
you're like the second coming. These were all humble European players, except Timmy D, man, the most humble
And David
superstar ever,
Robinson,
man.
yeah,
And David Robinson, he went to the army, man. Like, the guy is
He's
super
fighting
humble,
MMA
man.
now, man.
Yeah, he'll fall in line quick.
But yeah,
But,
dude, Pop could be on his way out, man.
Yeah,
Possible.
He should
Something
retire,
going on
man.
with that.
I think he should retire, man.
I think he has enough money, if I were to guess. I'm sure.
Yeah, he got enough money, enough championships, enough
5.
glory, man. Hall of Famer. This guy's done it all, man. Nothing to prove.
Nope.
But we will see, man, with the NBA MVP. Like I say, if I was putting money down in Vegas, definitely would put it on the Joker. It's a lot of guys that were in contention, but it seems like it's his to lose. So that'll wrap up our topics for tonight. Make sure you guys subscribe on Apple, Spotify. And when you guys are on Apple, make sure you guys give us a 5-star review because that gets us more in the rotation so we can get more views and listens and more people to talk to. So make sure when you're on Apple specifically, give us a 5-star review. Like I said, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Anchor, all the 9. And for me, Zoo and P. Bush, we're out.